Isn't life comical? I think that life is comical. And if you ever need a friend, then you got me. And in the end, when I die, would you watch me? And if I try suicide, would you stop me? Would you help me get a grip, or would you drop me?
Today I'm doing an album review of Come Over When You're Sober Part 2 by Peep. I'm going to do it song by song. I'll review each song in the order that it is on the track listing, and then do a full album review, and just kind of split the video down the middle. But I have notes with me, they're kind of hard to see because the light. Yeah, all 11 tracks. So let's get started with Broken Smile. I like the intro. It's different from most Peep songs, and I liked it because it kind of blurs the lines between like kind of hip-hop rap and like an emo band song, like, you know, just stuff that he is influenced by, and I like how well it blurs those lines. The lyrics are good, and I feel like this song really shows how Lil Peep was evolving before he died in terms of music, and how much he could have evolved and created more songs like this that were quite interesting. Yeah, it was more mature is what I mean, and I just feel like, you know, if things did not happen the way they did, he could have gone this direction and become much more musically diverse in a way. So yeah, and first thing I really wanted to say on the first song is, like, I really love that he still implements like real drums here and there, real guitar, real bass, and it's not just all samples or just, you know, fake stuff. So yeah, and I did like that song. Runaway, it just sounds like a traditional Lil Peep song, like song off one of his mixtapes. I like the lyrics. I was dying but nobody was there. There's a lot of lines throughout the entire record that are kind of just eerie like that, that are kind of like he's foretelling his death, basically. Yeah, the lyrics are really eerie. I like the guitar in the middle of the song with accompanied by rain sound effects. So this song, it just sounded like a traditional Lil Peep song to me, basically. Then Sex With My Ex, lyrics are painful. I could really feel his pain in this song. It honestly, to me, it could have been like more of like a rock song if it had different drums in that, like real drums. That's him again blurring the lines between emo and rap, just like so many people pointed out in the past. And despite me not really liking this song very much, the lyrics were great, and it actually inspires me to write music myself, so that is really cool. And really the standout part of this song, Sex With My Ex, the guitars and the lyrics, obviously. So this song, it was alright. It was just like another, it was alright. Cry Alone, this is the first and I think only song on the record that I did not like. I did not feel as if it belonged on the record. Wrote down the guitars are good, like the beat, but very repetitive. There's no really verse, chorus, verse kind of structure. It's just hook for like 2.5, 3 minutes, and I really, even now, I've listened to this album a few times through, and it just always stands out, its placement, and it doesn't belong to me on the record. Yeah, and like I said, first song I do not like. I did not like this song, and I still do not like this song. Next song, Leanin', simple, but I don't know what I wrote there. But I like the vocals, and the lyrics reveal Pete might have not wanted to live, and like I had previously mentioned, you get that a lot. You get these one lines or just kind of small sections where Pete kind of alludes to his death in a way like he knew he was going to die. And really that's not that far-fetched due to the amount of drugs he was doing, and I don't know what kind of personal problems he was having, but um, he alludes to his death nonetheless many times throughout this record. Um, and I liked how it changed in the middle of the song, the music did. Um, so Lena, yeah, I like this song. It's not the best one, and I ended up kind of not liking it at first, but I ended up liking it at the end. So yeah, 16 lines. I marked it down as one of my favorite songs on this record. Um, wrote down I like the calmness of the voice and the bass. This is a really just stripped back, just him just doing his thing at his best basically. The lyrics are powerful. You can hear his emotion in this song well due to the simplicity of the production. You know, instead of having this really, um, percussive leading type of song, it was just him doing what he does best, and that's raw emotion. And that's what I really got from this song, 16 Lines, is that he was very emotional in it. And once again, it makes me want to make my own music, and it's one of the most powerful songs on the record. Next, track 7, and I did like that song, is track 7 is Life is Beautiful, which came out, I think, maybe less than 5 days before the album had dropped. And it was quite a strange song at first. I loved the production, and this is what was so strange, is I was surprised to see Peep talking about his life being beautiful at first. But the more you listen to the lyrics, the more you read the lyrics, it's like, oh, you're just being a smartass about it. Um, and it's actually kind of sad. Instead of comical, it's more sad because it's true. A lot of things, obviously, he said were true. Um, and it fits perfectly coming after the song 16 Lines. Um, and another one of those lines that says, if I try suicide, would you stop me? And I was like, fucking hell, man. That's like, that hits deep. And another one, I think I'm gonna die alone inside my room. Yeah, it's just, you can speak these things in your life. The more you say things about yourself, it's like you're bringing that energy into your life. So I have no idea, but I'm not going to speculate about any of that. I did love that song. Actually, for a single, I would call it a single. It is quite a good song. Hate Me, the bass line is really cool. This is an interesting song. And stylistically, is something Peep I personally never seen him do, and it was really cool. The song is a bit different than the others. Happier beat to it, vibe to it. Yeah, like I said, I did not expect Peep to ever make a song produced like this before, and it was really cool. And once again, this is him evolving, and I wish that as well as everyone else, that he had the opportunity to evolve. Um, I'd like to see more songs like this on the album, where it's just him not taking that formula he has, like on songs like Runaway and that, and just moving forward into these weird instrumentals behind his really powerful vocals. Next, and I did like this song, next is I Don't Give a Fuck. The guitar stood out to me, the vocals definitely stood out to me, and the production stood out to me. Once again, different what Peep does, but on the downside, the lyrics were a bit immature, sorry, for me. Um, and I did like this song, but like I said, the lyrics a bit too immature for me. And then White Girl, this is where the album really, really gets good. I almost feel like I am there. Oh, I remember listening to this song. I was laying back in bed and listening to this song, and I wrote down, I almost feel like I'm there with Peep. Sad song. With this song, I could feel the life of his life just drawing out of him. It felt like, if anything, this song was probably recorded close to his death. I have no idea, but it just really feels like he's starting to fizzle out in terms of his emotional state. It really gave me really strong visuals to this whole, what this song described. White Girl, really great song. I originally thought that this should be the last song, White Girl, on the record, but after hearing Fingers, yeah, I really think Fingers is a great last banger. Um, I like the different intro, and I said this song really is really similar to like other albums that have ended with kind of a happier tone, but it's more like of a bittersweet happiness type of thing. For example, Oh No, Bring Me the Horizon, off of That's the Spirit, bittersweet ending, in my opinion. Um, I love the lyrics a lot. It's the strongest part of the song, and the production instruments are quite interesting, and I actually really did enjoy them. Like I said, bittersweet ending because this finally sort of gives his fans, including me, obviously, closure that he was taken from us too soon, and now it's kind of like this is the end. Like he probably had more music come out, but I mean this is like the final like this is kind of crude to say, but the nail in the coffin to our closure that he's gone. And it really hit me hard. His last line in the song is "I'm not gonna last long." I was like, fucking hell, man. It really hit me hard. But anyway, I really Fingers is one of my favorite songs. White Girl, and of course 16 Lines. Those are my three favorite songs. No particular order. 16 Lines is my favorite, but yeah, on to part two where I do the full album review. Alright, so this is the final review section of Come Over When You Were Sober Part 2 by Lil Peep. I'm going to start off with negative comments about the album and then go into positives, and then just kind of wrap this up the best way I can. But I would like to put a disclaimer first. Wrote it down here. I am aware people could have changed this album from what Lil Peep would have wanted if he were still alive. That means like song structure, track listing, album cover art, and I'm not really aware, forgive me if information is out there about all this, but I'm not really aware what was changed after his death to what his original viewing of the album was. So I'm just going to take that into consideration, and I won't complain too much about its faults because, ultimately, Pete probably didn't get the final touches on this thing to how he perfectly wanted it, and perhaps he did, but regardless, I'm still not going to hit it super hard, but there are things I definitely find fault with. Like I said, I'm going to do the negatives first to get into the positives and wrap this up. First negative I had about this album, and this is the main problem I had, is most of these songs flow well coming off each other. As in, once one song ends and the next one starts, there's not a lot of like jittering, there's not a lot of kind of unevenness between each song. Each song transitions well into each other. But there, I do mention there is a distinct gap between Broken Smile, the first track, and the fifth track, Leanin'. There are three songs in between: Runaway, Sex with My Ex, and what's that third song? Cry Alone, of course. Anyway, those songs I will go more into it, but I just really do not like those three songs, and I think they're kind of misplaced on this album because this album was more to me about Peep evolving and expanding his style, and these songs kind of feel stuck in the past or have qualities that are not really redeeming and fulfilling to Come Over When You Were Sober Part 2. Honestly, I don't like Runaway or Sex with My Ex, but really, I would really say if there is one song that you have to leave off this album, I would pick Cry Alone. to me it's just way too repetitive. It just is kind of one of those like outliers just in the middle of the record. But really, to me, all three of those songs were just filler. That's just my personal opinion. I didn't really see anything stand out from them too much. Um, and now the darker, good part of the album begins, like I said, after Leanin'. I feel like if Broken Smile would have gone straight into Leanin', or if maybe Runaway and Sex with My Ex were kind of rearranged somehow throughout the album, I think that would be good. But I find myself skipping when I go through and listen at the album. I find myself skipping those three songs. And only one complaint about the production and the music part, not the songs or vocals or anything. The one problem I do have with the music is the drums tend to be quite too similar between songs. They seem to be a bit too like they're copying each other. A good example, and I do it again, Runaway, Sex with My Ex. The songs are just too similar to me. And I think later on the album as well, there are two, I think it might be I Don't Give a Fuck and Hate Me. I think those two songs are a little bit too close together as well in terms of guitar hooks. And I just feel like maybe the guitar was, not necessarily the guitar itself, but the way it was played was a bit overused on this album. Nonetheless, I prefer it over just straight fake, like samples. So those were all the negatives, so now to the positives. I do like how most of this record does flow well, like I previously mentioned, and songs do mostly sound similar enough to where they do not clash with each other, because it sucks when track listing is bad and the songs do not flow like they should, but it really sucks when you get a group of songs that just clash with each other because they do not sound like they should be on the same record. And going back to Cry Alone, that's why I think a better explanation of why I do not like Cry Alone. It clashes too much. But excluding that song and sort of excluding those other two songs I do not like, it really is really great flow to it actually. And obviously Peep is a bit different, but most rap albums, in my opinion, don't necessarily focus on the art of making an album. So it is cool to see that Peep actually does this. Actually, a lot of thought was gone into track listing in that. And then next to last, from Leanin' until the end of the record, I think Peep and the producers really captured firsthand. Oh yeah, they really capture from Leanin' until the end of the record that Peep is slowly getting worse. And I don't know when these songs were recorded, but the way they put them together, it really seems like it's almost like a documenting his descent from, I'm kind of feeling like shit, until like, wow, I'm really low in my life. His mental descent is what I'm talking about. Like the demons are really taking over his life, and that's really apparent in songs like White Girl, such a sad song. And same with Fingers, it just really is soul crushing because you can see Peep getting worse and worse through the process of this album moving on. And that was something I really have to, I don't know if it was because of the producers, I don't know if it was because of Peep or both of them, but yeah, that was the strongest part. It's really almost like a short documentary about his life before he had died. Now this is a little bit more scripted part of the final album review, whatever, because I have a lot to say. And finally, it's about the last song, Fingers. Fingers is an interesting ending to this album, but nonetheless it fits well. It is a bittersweet ending, almost like the song that plays during the credits of a film. you don't want to leave the cinema and it's just like, that was a really great movie, but now we gotta move on. And that's really, it's like I'd spoken previously about this song, it's almost like a real closing to an era in all of our lives. Like, like closure, finally sort of getting that next step to everyone kind of healing a bit more. And I don't want to just focus on how he died, but it's just like this record is quite, it shows the real breaking down of his life towards the end. um yeah, and I'm really thankful that we actually got this final piece in his life, because there are some musicians, some actors, some public figures that die before they're able to get that piece, like something that's complete. They have pieces that people kind of pull together into one thing and then kind of put it to the crowd, but this really feels like we got a good production towards the end of his life that really sums up like how he was doing right before he had died. And I really am thankful of that. And I would like to say a few thank yous. I'm grateful, obviously, to this album, like I've said, and everyone involved in putting this together after he died, performing it and recording it when he was still alive. And I want to, I don't, not, I should know more about this, but I want to definitely thank Smoke a Sack, his producer. I'm fairly sure that's his producer, and of course his mother. I think she's called Liza, something like that. I know her name, I just don't necessarily know how to say it. And I definitely want to thank both of them because, the record company could have put out some bullshit, if they were not involved to make sure that Peep got his, what he put his blood, sweat, and tears into, out into, the best way possible. And it has really affected us all. I'm sure, everyone can agree. This, it has some problems like I mentioned, but definitely I give this a strong 7.5 out of 10, this album. And yeah, I just want to say rest in peace, Lil Peep. You're really missed, and we're all thankful for your influence on all of us. Thanks for watching.